All right, the White House says Elon Musk won't be going anywhere just yet, despite a report yesterday saying that he's going to step back from his DOGE role soon.
Okay, so what is really going on with the world's richest guy? Chanley Painter is here with the details. Chanley.
Good morning. So the White House and Elon Musk, they call it fake news, guys. So after a Politico article reports that Trump told his inner circle and members of his cabinet that Musk will be stepping back, saying, quote, the president is pleased with Elon Musk, but the decision comes as the tech mogul increasingly looks like a political liability. Well, the White House wasted no time in responding. The press secretary posting this quote, "This scoop is garbage." Elon Musk and President Trump have both publicly stated that Elon will depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work at DOGE is complete. To which Musk commented this, quote, "Yeah, fake news."
Well, I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point he's going to be going back. I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. He's a very talented guy. I love very smart people. And he's very smart. And he's done a good job. DOGE has, we found numbers that nobody can even believe.
And Musk has been the public face of DOGE since the president signed an executive order establishing the office in January. But it has always been anticipated Musk would step back when his 130 days as a special government employee run out in May. And so far, the DOGE website reports savings of $140 billion as of March 30th, guys. And Musk telling our Brett Baer last week he believes his team can accomplish most of their goals within that 130 days.
Thanks, Chanley.
Thank you, Chanley.
When are we going to realize that there is no Trump insider? He talks to us every day. There is, you could sit there and whisper, and Politico has this big story. He told Brett Baer on Monday, he told him last week that aired on Friday. He said, yeah, I'm about done. When I'm done, we'll be out of here. 130 days is right. It makes total sense. And yesterday, people were pointing to the fact that Wisconsin special election didn't come out well, despite all the money and time he put in. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed it, but Elon Musk isn't much of a quitter. So he doesn't go, okay, I lost, I guess I'm not going to be effective. Learns, recalibrates, and keeps going. And now what I think is going to happen, they're going to start seeing more and more of the faces of DOGE rather than just Elon Musk of DOGE.
And Politico also said he's going to leave in the coming weeks. Yeah. That's very vague. I mean, coming weeks, he said I'll be here for 130 days. That's the coming weeks.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Donald Trump said apparently at a cabinet meeting last week that he's going to leave soon. I think what is confusing a lot of people, though, is, those stories after he started with the DOGE bulldozing of Washington was the stories were, the predictions were he's here to stay and that Donald Trump will find another way around that 130-day limit. And remember when he was on with Larry Kudlow, when Elon Musk was, Kudlow said, you think you're going to go another year? And he said, yeah, I might go another year. So there was always going to have to be a workaround, but now it sounds like he's probably going to go ahead and go run as many businesses before the 130 days is up.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.